Are Counter-Strike matches too long? A recent change to the configuration file for competitive matches of Counter-Strike Matchmaking has sparked some discussion, which looks like it implies a switch to 12 round halves in a first to 13 win format for matchmaking games in CS2. So why is Valve wanting to change the amount of rounds being played? Levi did some research and they found that short matches are pretty much commonly played just as long matches. And then the amount of time being played in short versus long matches, obviously long is going to have more time played because of the more rounds, but we see quite a lot of hours are still played in short. And in short matches in matchmaking in CSGO, that's only MR8. If you go between the middle ground of MR8 and MR15, that's around MR12. The competitive standard throughout all of CSGO has been a maximum of 15 rounds per half or first to 16 format with some variation of 3 round halves in overtime, with varying starting money usually within the 10 to 16k range. Before we move on, your boy has to find a way to be able to afford some food, so here's a word from my sponsor. This video is sponsored by Skins Monkey, a trading platform where you can instantly get new skins by trading in your old ones. All you have to do is click on your item, see how much it's worth, then pick out some new skins. What I love about Skins Monkey is that you can take a bunch of your skins that you don't want and trade up for a better one like I'm doing here, essentially upgrading. Besides trading, you can also buy CSGO skins for cheap with a 30% deposit bonus, and if you use my code NART, you get an additional 5%. Make sure to use the link in the description and code NART to get all the extra bonuses. In the professional sphere, matchups usually use a best of 3 with the option of best of 1s if there are a lot of matches or just little time to go through. At the opposite end, we get the best of 5s usually being reserved for grand finals at big tournaments like IM Cologne and Katowice. But if we look at the time before CSGO, CS Source and 1.6, things weren't as quite clear cut. There were tournaments with first to 10 rounds with 9 round halves.
Counter-Strike Source is a first-person shooter that pits 2 5-man teams against each other. The game is split into 2 halves consisting of 9 rounds each, and each round lasts 80 seconds. At halftime, the terrorist and counter-terrorist teams switch roles. The first team to win 10 rounds wins the game, but every winning round counts as 1 point towards the team's match total.
Back then, there were tournaments that only played out 2 maps with 30 rounds each regardless of the score. This reminded me a lot back of the Cal days and CPL. Fun fact, MR15 replaced MR12 back in at least 2005 because there was a money bug issue, and it was the classic CPL 12 rounds back then. And it was also decided elimination and qualification from group stages based on the round difference. Now, in the early days, truly the sky was the limit for these formats with multiple tournament organizers and no standard rule set. With the release of CSGO and the gaining popularity of official matchmaking over community servers, the format Valve put forward established itself as the general standard. Now, to evaluate which format would be better, it is important to know what we think of as important and what we see as problems. The highest priority to a match should be competitive games. If a game is back and forth and an absolute nail biter, it won't matter if it goes 1 or 2 rounds longer, as we could see the nth phase matchup at IM Dallas, which even though it lasted very long was exciting through and through.
Look at Nerds, he's pushed through elbow, and he might just try and elbow his way through, but Ross is ready, and he'll take a lot of damage, but the play is in B. Twist continues, and Madden is under a lot of scrutiny, but he's going to handle it. Madden doing so much. The Montenegrin goes massive. Oh my God. Madden pulls.
Feeding into the point of a competitive matchup, we like to see each team at their best with a fair chance. This, in my opinion, is best archived in full versus full buy. So the goal would be to crack down on full ecos and half buys. A step that wouldn't necessarily come with less rounds, but could go hand in hand if the economy system was reworked for that format. Something that is already the case in Valve short matches where both teams start out with a higher loss bonus. If we see similar changes for the new leaked first to 13 format, we would essentially get the same amount of full buy rounds in a shorter time frame by just cutting out bad economy rounds. Bad news for all my eco hunters and KD players of course, but good news for everyone else. Brocho on Twitter even made some estimates on how much time that this would actually save. As this breaks down, some of these current matches are extremely long and it's difficult to expect regular fans to plan such huge amounts of time just to watch a Counter-Strike match, additionally to any other matches you might want to watch to keep up with the current level of play. With the added pressure of less rounds, we would also be likely to see less rounds being given up to saves, a generally unexciting outcome to watch. But all of this obviously hangs in the balance of adjusting the economy. Good economy management should still be rewarded and bad economy management punished through more or less full buys for a team, but if the economy is too harsh, the pistol round, which many see as a near random, would gain massive importance, probably too much. MR15 or MR12 aren't inherently better than one another, it just depends on how the economy is adjusted to less rounds overall being played, such that we could get less boring and more exciting rounds. This would overall be a favorable but obviously hard to archive step. Now with the major being relatively soon to figure this out, it seems like Valve might just want to experiment in regular matchmaking to find an ideal balance that it can then use for pro games. Until then, third-party services like Face8 Gamers Club and Esporter are still free to use whatever match config they prefer, and they might very well stick to what we know or what we have now until Valve figures out their balance. And although MR15 feels like an essential part of Counter-Strike, they weren't pre-CSGO, and even in CSGO we have short matches which enjoy a healthy popularity among casuals. So it really isn't such a big core component to Counter-Strike as many might want to believe. Given that we don't know how exactly it's going to look, the community and pros are still unsure how to feel about this upcoming change and are talking about it on social media. But I want to know what you guys think about this change. Let me know down below in the comments. Till next time, NartOutHere, peace.